Hey there and welcome to a Galaxy of Heroes video. Free versus free, GAC versus Arnold. It's been a while since I posted last time, but I thought this might be worth posting. So this is the board before we both went. I wanted to attack before he does his attack stream so I can enjoy the show, so to say. Looking at the defense here, and then off, I think mostly standard teams that I also would set myself to a certain extent. Nothing too frightening, and the south wall is essentially GLs plus Reba, which is also almost GL, and at least 3 versus 3. So my plan was to attack south first, see what is behind there, and then go to the north, and then just take it from there. Ideally, not having too many drops, so I put him into a pickle just to make it the show more spicy, so to say. Starting off with, as you can see, Treya, Nihilist Savage versus Reaver. I think this counter is pretty much established by now. There are cheaper counters like Redders, but if it goes south, it's really frustrating because then you still have to use Treya anyway, so I thought, why not just use Treya and be done with it. You might have noticed that I did Drain Force, even though they had all buffs, but sometimes, even then, like in the beginning, when there were no debuffs, even then you can at times still increase the cooldowns. That's why I did that. And at this point, Reaver was out, so from there on it's usually smooth sailing. Sometimes you can get out Grand Inquisitor first, which is potentially better, but in this case she was open, and so I just went for her. And at this point it's pretty much, game over. Not really fight over, but in a positive way, because they just have not enough oomph to go through. But of course, like having a lot of health helps essentially for the protection up that you get. Then the next battle is Jabba. I have the no revive cron for this, so it's pretty much a safe counter using JMK here, because you don't have to annoy with this Wookiee twice, Kusandan, and so it felt quite good to just use this. Other than that, there was also the current set of Datacrons on this defense. You see the damage immunity here on Bausch, but the good thing or the bad thing about this new set is there are no really stats that are super desirable. I mean, there's resistance penetration, which is for special damage, and armor penetration, which is for physical damage. They are great, but I think a maximum of like 100% or so, which is not a lot, given that you can, with the old set that you currently also have, about like 300 plus defense in general on the crons. So you eventually only want those crons for the stat boost that you get from the third tier, 6th tier, and the 9th tier. And for me, the most important thing here, while we're going on Java, is just like that I don't have to deal with Crescendant twice, because sometimes this counter still can go southways. Especially now that you have like more deaths on you when they have the crowns, so it felt good to get a 57 here. Then this was an interesting battle, which is like Lord Vader with Maul and the new Beskar Gideon. Dark Trooper Gideon, whatever you want to call him. I think Beskar sounds better. I wasn't sure about this because I haven't faced it before, so I wanted to go extra safe and took in Cal, just so that I can one-shot that guy and not have to deal with his shenanigans, and potentially he would revive the other two once they are out. But you don't really need him, I figured out. If I would have gone with JKR and Hoda next to JML, would have been perfectly fine, because all that really matters is just keep the guy ability blocked, and other than that, like increases cooldowns once you've taken out the other two, and then the rest is pretty much straightforward. Yes, there are some instances where it can get dicey. That's why I believe Hoda is much better than JKR. Jedi Knight Cal, sorry. It's too many Jedi Knights in this game. But other than that, it's a straightforward counter, I believe. I've used it quite frequently in 3 vs 3, and I think A lot of people underestimate JML in this, and potentially risking to lose it by not taking in strong Jedi. So I think a JKR is necessary. But other than that, Hoda is good, or like Jedi Cal. I think Ahnald, for those who have watched this video, used Chuck, which is not so good, I believe. But anyway, enough of that. Then there was, of course, Leia with the whole shebang on Datacron, Drogon plus 75% less damage when over 50% TM. I didn't want to use Malachus here because I wanted to use him for something else, and so I was opting for this variant with Thrawn, having the benefit of being able to swap to Kylo, but also putting R2 under Fracture here, and so it's pretty safe, I would say, but of course, as you can see here, safe in as safe as it can get with Kylo Ren, which usually means everyone dies except him. So in this case, Thrawn already is gone, but it still feels good because Crew is there. I have full ult, so I can charge a little bit my Siphon by swiping. I wanna, time the ult right, so not to use it too early, and also hoped to get R2 out. I was waiting for him to have low turn meter, but sometimes the turn meter bar is jumping, and I don't really make use of this feature they have with where you see the turns, because it still doesn't help you with turn meter, so you don't have any idea, is it 50%, is it above, is it below, and so you have to still kind of wiggle these things a little bit, or was it the right expression? I don't know. I'm not an English speaker, native speaker, so but I'm a native GLL take outer. That was a weird word term. So here's what I used Malachus for. I was not sure if there's a GL in the back, so I wanted to save my fourth GL that I had for offense, which was Jabba, and so I used Malachus in this. I didn't use Starkiller either, because this was this defense crown with the 200% stacking defense, and I figured that Starkiller might have a bad time versus it, but this kind of felt quite safe because it's very durable, and there's no revive with Malachus, so I felt that could be okay. As you can see, he hits quite hard. I think I have one of the highest offense Malachus in the game, plus crit damage triangle, so all the offense not mod farming was paying off to some extent. And having high offense, of course, helps with this counter. And here I take out JTR just to get rid of her, because she's annoying. There was damage immunity already for both of them, Rey and Ben, and so it was quite easy to take her out. Ben first, and then Rey, of course. Not the best banner, but it was very safe, and so took out the front wall, and here's the back wall. I was surprised there was no GL, but some other interesting teams and some crons that I haven't seen before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect there. And before going to that wall, I wanted to clear the north to see what ships he has, even though I think he always places the same ship defense, but I might be wrong. I'm not really checking the history as much. But then, as you can see, Gas versus this annoying Tusken team. Annoying as in it at times feels OP with all the weird mechanics of the bouncing taunts, then they're not dying, and then they come back when they kill people or so. I don't really read the crons too detailed. I'm just winging most things these days. But yeah, I felt Gas might be okay to use here because I had no other use for him, and I also didn't want to put him on defense because my Gas at the moment is not really good modded, not well modded in terms of being Gar Saxon proof, because he doesn't have any additional potency at the moment. And so I felt if I put Gas on defense, I just invite people to use Gar Saxon and get essentially an underman on Gas, which is not the thing you want to have when you put him on defense. And so I was using him on offense, and I think versus Tuskens, it's one of the best things you can use. It can get dicey, of course, especially because my Guess is also not ideally modded for defense in terms of having no defense really. He's mostly model as a damage dealer, which I prefer, but this is wrong, so don't do that. Yeah, then there was this Fin Sorry team, which I believe is slowly on the verge of fading out from defense, potentially. Maybe not in threes, but in fives, I believe it is. And I had two options for this. One was Malgus, and one was what you see here. And I thought I used Malgus on the back wall on his Seer, because she's quite beefy, and so I just went with this counter. There is a chance that it can fail, but it felt quite okay. So pretty straightforward. For this team especially, it would have been nice if the current crown set, or the new crown set, however you want to call it, actually has a lot of like defense penetration, so that you can, or armor penetration, that you can just like, you know, lift the ceiling of what this team can achieve, because if you have a really high defense or armor penetration, you also can, like, for instance, challenge Lord Vader or kill Lord Vader. Then there was the CLS team, again, 50% TM, over 50% TM, you deal only 25% damage, blah, blah, blah. It felt a bit dicey with DR because it didn't have very good datacrons. I think Ahnald was a bit complaining about my datacrons on stream, and I would wait on these, but I actually don't. It's just like, you have time for these to farm them, and I do that. That's what Conquest is for, even though I don't like it. Sometimes I get good things, sometimes I don't. And with the current set, I don't have good things as of now. So this might change once the next Conquest comes around. Yeah, then I'm using Radis versus Aiden, which I believe currently is dicey, because most people have this like turn defense into offense cron, which I also had on my defense, and it can get really dangerous for Radis, because sometimes, like you see here, base loses taunt, and then if you do the wrong move, like an AoE, and they don't have days on them, and they all counter you, and suddenly Radis is gone, then it's really, not so nice. So you try to avoid that. Use the ult here. They don't die, which usually is also a little bit like frustrating, because usually they do, but with high defense modding, or like high defense on a cron, and that kind of stuff. Oh, I believe it's 2 damage, right? And they were just too beefy. Anyway, 54. Sorry for rambling. Use the Sphinx. So back wall here. As you can see, this is Malgus versus Seer. It's a good defensive team, especially with crew there, so you take Padme out of the equation. Of course, you can potentially take out the other two, but you don't really get out crew without a sufficient damage dealer, and you don't want to have a damage dealer, like an attacker, on the team of Gitme, because you want to have Galactic Republic support units, and so it's not ideal. And so Malgus, I believe, has the best shot, mainly because of this move, unless it gets evaded or like they have foresight. I wasn't really paying attention if they had. I believe they did not. Maybe she was just dodging it. But usually it's at some point they will go down, because after a few basics, he just stacks up health, and when you have him health modded, at some point he will get through. And so I felt quite confident with this counter. Of course, it takes some time, which is sometimes, like here, just take out 300k or something, 2 damage. What is annoying in this game, some battles you really need like patience for, like these ones, and some just like are over in 5 seconds. I mean, it's not annoying, but it's just like funny to some extent. And yeah, what else can I say about this team with Malgus? I really like him on offense. Ever since General Cal is out, you either have to bait General Cal and put Malgus on the back wall, but even then, there are tools to take him out, and I really like him on offense. The past few matches I soloed teams with him, and I think, or like I said it once, but I never really got the opportunity, because no one sets JML in defense, really, so you can also, I think, take out JML. Or other stuff that is just annoying. So he's quite fun, and whenever like there's a cron that has like health as a stat, just farm that. and hope to get some good grunts, and if not, maybe you have the opportunity to reroll, but I don't would like whale on these things because that's not worth it. There are not really things to whale on in this team that are worth it. Potentially new characters because they can be fun. That's what I do. But yeah, but the other things are not really that impressive. Maybe whaling in sense of investing resources into modding is also a good thing. Then there was this interesting team which I used Viva for. You can see like I have kept quite some good teams for offense, but not because I like wanted to play efficiency game, but because I was expecting a very heavy defense, but I still wanted to place a defense that is annoying to deal with. And if you have seen the stream from Arnold, that I guess kind of worked to some extent. But yeah, anyway, this was 55. And then I was Caloran back on defense, which I was not sure what to do with it. So I used Starkiller. I usually always keep Starkiller with offense because last match my opponent kept Starkiller on defense and I used Wampa for 58. So it doesn't really make sense to put us on defense, at least this combination of Starkiller teams. And back I believe is better on offense. After seeing this, I was taking out gas with him. You can split the teams like Qui-Gon Jinn with Anakin and someone else, and Caloran back with Shark or someone else plus Cam is a really strong offensive team. So on defense, not so good. And speaking of this Qui-Gon Jinn, as you can see here, I used a split because I kept my back also for offense and wanted to use him for something else potentially. And so I made this split to take out this team. And then it's the last, on the last, second to last the team, which is a classic Qui-Gon Jinn, but as you can see, it's the North Wall. And I had several options for this, but I was not seeing any reason to not use this counter on it because there was nothing really like out of the ordinary, like ability blocks or so, or I don't know, that I would have to fear on the Datacron. So I just use this counter, and it's quite safe still. I mean, it doesn't have the best success rate on SWGOH, but I still think it's better than Bad Batch because Bad Batch really can go south, especially when they're like fast modded. But here, as you can see, Qui-Gon is out, Anakin is out, and now you only have to deal with the annoyance of Cam, which, depending on the situation, can get dicey when he can, like now, is in the stance, and you put on a Datacron where you get ability blocks. So he stays in this like counter stance, and so he always heals up quite a bit, as you can see. So it takes some time to will him down. But overall, it's like I think one of the oldest counters to this team, and it still works, and it was kind of fun to play it again. I used to be better at it, like getting better banners, but I guess this was also due because of the ability blocks that I had on Micron, which is a level 3 or something, or level 6. I don't know. So, but eventually 54, which was fine. And then I still had Jabba, and so I was not sure what to do with him, so I just used him on this team, which is the last ground battle, which I believe had this Datacron level 9 on L3. I don't know what it does. And I think I also don't need to know what it does, because as you can see, this is quite a simple match. Maybe he could even have undersized it just with Bausch and Jabba, but yeah, 57. And here's the back wall of ships. Of course, 3 meta fleets, which I personally, I always say it's a D move to do that, but people are free to do whatever they want in the end, right? It's just a matter of how you get through them in the end, and there are counters for all of these. But yeah, I don't know. It's a try-hard move, I guess. But anyway, let's look at the matches. So I had 2 of the meta fleets for offense, which is Radis and Levi, because most people can counter Levi, and he takes out most of the things usually. And so I will take out Profundity here, which, funny enough, is one of the battles I didn't play in a long time. because in Feed Arena you mostly see Levi, and in Grand Arena you rarely see Profundity on defense. So at least the last few battles I didn't see it. And so it was fun to play it like again after such a while, and I still have to figure out what I need to do. But I think it's straightforward. It's one of the safer counters, I would say. As you can see, most of the nuisances are out. Just like when Falcon, who can dodge like so or so, which is annoying, or so. It's just like, what's going on here? But other than that, it's not really at this point it's just like quite easy. Here I was misclicking, why not? And here the game does something stupid, whatever. Sometimes I think, what's happening here? Is it about a crash or what's going on? But it didn't, and so I got 75. But the funny thing is, when I was going back into the main menu, it only counted as 74 banners. Maybe someone knows why that is. I have no clue how this works. Sometimes you get a banner more than you see on this screen, but sometimes you get one less, apparently. And here's the second battle, which went south right away. I also misplayed it. I didn't wiggle with Millennium Falcon, because if you don't really get a dent into Xanadu Blood, it's better to just like, I guess, wiggle and hope for the best to get a chance. But I pressed just like attack and hope that they would take out Xanadu with assist, but I didn't get any good assist RNG. And so this is the reason why this is still like a very good defensive lead in terms of holds. But at least I got out Xanadu, and this was for me a sign. Yeah, it's no problem. I still can clear this easily with Fire Analyzer. However, I didn't want to drop a battle because usually you never know versus like good players like Ahnald. You always want to have like a good, let's say, buffer for defense, or so you want to put pressure on him as well. But anyway, so I had to clean this up, and of course not ideal because it's preloaded and a weird lineup. So I was thinking, what should I do? I guess I need to ability block this guy. There's tenacity up, so no stun, but still wanted to get the protection off of this guy. Then putting Hunted on Hound's Tooth, just to keep him in check, and the rest is pretty straightforward. You just try to stun people or like take them out, keep Hound's Tooth in check. Ideally at some point didn't land here, buff immunity, and now Slave 1 comes out, which is annoying because I have no cleanse and no other way, so I have to deal with his counter attacks. Ideally one shot him in, didn't happen, so it's annoying because the counter attacks can charge their ult, which in this case they didn't because there was not enough like of these fancy debuffs, which name I forgot, on my ships, so no problem here, but still. Annoying battle, and pretty much usually when you play this, there is a certain kind of rules you have to follow. You do this after this to avoid this, or to do this. But when you have to, let's say, wing it because it was preloaded and you didn't have when you don't also have a real lineup, you just have to follow your gut feeling what you're doing next, or just like follow a certain still kind of rules that apply, like keep Hound's Tooth in check, keep people stunned if possible, and that kind of stuff. And then of course there was Leviathan, and I used Thrawn, which is counter. I don't play that much in arena, so I always have to think about it, what I'm doing here. But I know it's straightforward. Just come in, stun this guy, and now thinking, which was the right special. Don't want to risk too long press because maybe I just quick press and then I use the wrong ability. So I had to think, what does which ability do? I want to get rid of the buffs, and meaning also getting rid of the taunt, so I can get a free shot at Sith Assassin. What's the ship called? I don't know. And then eventually press the right button, and then took out Sith Assassin, and now still have to wing it mostly. And here remove turn meter, which was okay, because sometimes turn meter can get in your way, being that if they have too much, and so I just try to remove it. But now it doesn't look too good for my fleet, so I had the option bringing in this ship here, like Emperor Shuttle, or the TIE Interceptor. I opt for the shuttle just to heal the ship of the Inquisitor, because I thought it could be helpful. And yeah, taking out, not sure if it's the right move or not, just taking out Malgus' ship, and then the bomber, and now I have to deal with this ship, which is always annoying, because also like the wrong move here, could have used the basic, get more stacks of this guy. Yeah, and I always like find it super annoying. There was one battle like a few weeks or months back, when Leviathan came out, and I had to play this, and I cleaned it up, and essentially was timed out because I didn't get down like the stacks of this thing, because I only had like attacks, or like ships with basic attacks like with one tap and no assist, so it was taking forever, and eventually timed out. And not only that, Arnold like put this like FU defense on fleets, he also put like more reinforcements than you usually would on the Leviathan, so just like it gets even more annoying. Which I guess is also just maybe potentially time out people. Yeah, but I hope it didn't matter. Or it didn't matter in the end. Not I hope, because I know it didn't matter. Yeah, but still, it's an annoying fleet to deal with. But luckily, this counter is kind of reliable, at least for me. And so got the full clear, not the best banners, because actually I wanted like 2050 around, but because of the fail, didn't happen. And here you can see the result that Ahnald got. He struggled quite a bit, for those who have seen his stream. Mostly on Iden, because my team was anti-Radis, but also anti-Wampa a little bit. And so he got into the trap, so to say, and also like the Lord Vader that I placed caused some struggles for him. But overall, it was a great match, and thanks Ahnald for the fun stream, because in the end, like he essentially got his full clear on the last second of the stream. If you haven't watched it, watch it please. It was quite entertaining. So thanks for that. Hope we see each other again. Yeah, have a great day everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.